Well, there's a new restaurant over there. It looks more like a furniture shop because there's so much by way of pillows in the window, but it says there Zdrowe jedzenia już jest, szyld jeszcze się robi, which is healthy food already exists, the shield is still making itself. That's literally what it means. Of course, if we put it into idiomatic English, it basically means we've already got healthy food here, we're still making the sign. That's a very good name for a restaurant. They should keep it that way. It's the 3rd of May, and yeah, this is a walk, of course. This is a little cafe called Meeting with the Spy. Spotkanie ze szpiegiem. There's a lot of nice, interesting new cafes around the place. They don't seem to last long. Somebody comes up with an idea for a cafe, thinks it's going to be fun to run one, discovers it's hard work, and then sells it on to the next person, who of course wants to change it to their own idea as to what it should be like. And so it goes on. And so Warsaw gets a continual flow through of restaurants, the average lifetime of which seems to be about 3 years. In fact, I'd say that there's a normal, well, it's not really that, it's not a normal distribution, because you can't have it going less than the average time seems about 3 years. That's the mode rather than the arithmetic mean, but it's more of a Poisson distribution, because you do get some that are there for, you know, there are a few that have been around for a lot longer. Not that many that have been around for an awful long time. I'm trying to think of some that have been around for longer. Izumi, which is here, the place which is for sushi. This one's been there for well, I was using it already about 8 years ago. That one, and it's also been an ordering of Bastilia, also just here, the little pancake place. That's now it called itself a champagne bar and crêperie. It's completely changed its appearance. It's gone into part of the old Keihong thing. It's got some extra space in it. That place has been around for quite some time as well. Keihong itself, I think, has been around that's one of the ones that have been around for a long time. But against that, you've got others that haven't been around nearly so long. There's something which hasn't been around a long time, is that rainbow thing. I know what it's made out of, probably plastic plants. Anyway, yeah, it's something to meet across, because it's one of these things. Corso, this ice cream parlour, seems to have been around a long time. And you get other places which disappear and something else appears. That thing over there, which is Credit Bank now, that used to be the place where you could get Rosenthal crockery. And at the time when we got married, Yelena and I, we had to make up a set of Rosenthal crockery, because we got given as a gift some Rosenthal crockery, but it wasn't a complete set. So we went there to get some more. Not that I really am a big fan of Rosenthal, I have to say, but nevertheless, if you've almost got a set, it just irritates you. So you've got to get the lot. Otherwise, no point in having any of it. Right. This is a nice place if you come to Warsaw. This is Superom, which is, it's got the massage in it with real Wappo Thai massagists, and it's got very good Thai food, and it's not too expensive, and it's very good. So I've taken the wife there a few times, and it's extremely good. Why a Thai place has got to be written with Chinese characters when it's nothing to do with it, I don't know. Obviously Thai is distantly related to the Chinese languages, but it's also tonal, but it's got its own old script. And oh, here we go. You never know what to expect in Warsaw. Here come some people with a sign. I wonder what the sign says and what language it will be in. Free walking tour, join us. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, you can join his free walking tour, or you can join mine. You don't have to get out of your seat to be in my walking tours. There you go. Pulp fiction. There's a lot of pulp fiction. There's a number of pulp fiction themed restaurants and bars around the world. And another one that I've been in, I haven't been in that, obviously I just walked past it. That's an example, by the way, something which has just come up new and wasn't there before and probably won't be there for long either. The one in the Czech Republic that I was about to talk about, that one is Jack Rabbit's, which had a Pulp Fiction playing on the walls the whole time, on video screens. Certain key scenes from Pulp Fiction were all the time just playing over and over, and themes from Pulp Fiction were going on the whole time within the restaurant. On top of that, there was a pink Cadillac. Thing is that Americans pronounce, when it should be Cadillac, they pronounce it Cadillac anyway. So then you start to correct it for them, and then discover that you're the one making the mistake. It is Cadillac. But if you wanted to sit in it or have your meal in this pink Cadillac, which has been made into seats and a table in the middle, if you wanted to have your drinks in that and have your photo taken, you have to actually buy a certain cocktail, and it's nothing to do with what cocktail you are drinking. I think they call the cocktail pink Cadillac as well or something, but it's all to do with the fact that oh, here's something else, Bates Motel, but that's nothing to do with being a motel. It's not really a motel. I'm just going to show you another one of these things. I'm just moseying here to see how much has changed just here, because what actually they had here for a while was a fish and chip shop. Am I in the right place for that? Maybe I'm not. Now it's become Bar Funa Noi, but it doesn't look like I'm in the right place. Maybe it's the other set of arches. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. Or maybe this is it now, turned into a pub. They change so often. Oh, this has even become an erotic store now. I shouldn't think it's very erotic. These places never really are. But yeah, it must have been supposed to be there, but of course it's completely disappeared. That it's called Pub 7 now. It was actually a fish and chips place for a short while. That one lasted about a year, I think, maybe 2. So like I say, the average seems to be about 3 years. There's some of them going on as long as about 20 years. But really, if I have to think of restaurants other than ones which are in hotels, but in the meantime have also been changed out, but they're still in the same place and they're still with the same owners, but their themes have changed, their menus have all changed, the cooks have all changed, the head waiters have all changed probably, but they're the ones that are probably likely to have lasted the longest. The hotel ones in the old hotels, places like the Marriott. But basically, I'm talking about food while I'm fasting. I don't know, this is making me feel hungry. That's interesting. Get your phones out. If anybody wants to see if they can get that via the screen, by all means try. It's always worth an experiment. I love experimenting, and that's one of the things that some of my subscribers value as well in these films. That there's always a bit of thinking going on, a bit of readiness to experiment, trying to get a different angle on things, or trying to do something different with the simplest of implements, really. I mean, I wouldn't call the camera that I'm working with at the moment anything other than really the simplest thing that you can do HD on. KFCs, they tend to last a long time. Of course, they put some research into where they should be putting them, and so the KFC's there now. It's been there a long time, that one. But then next to it, Dom Kleber, House of Bread. Never even noticed that before. It's probably, I don't know, a year or two old. If I haven't noticed it, what could it be? I could probably go back and do previous films that I've taken in the last few years of this area, driving my bike past here and seeing whether it's actually there or not. Or whether it's actually something else then. But it probably would have been. I don't know whether I could be bothered to do it, but it probably would have been something else back then. This is now called the Greenhouse Development, like the name had been given it from the very beginning, but it's only just called that now. But when that thing first went up, it didn't have that sign on the top. Trying to make it out to be newer than it actually is by giving it a new name. Anything to get the real estate market moving a little bit, I suppose. Some of this is a little bit, old and grand and Ceausescu-y. So it's got a bakery and coffee in it. I don't think it is. It's an interesting building there, snuggled in between the two larger ones, isn't it? With all the murals on there. Got to tell you what, the doner kebab smells driving me nutty. I'm on fast day again. It's 6 o'clock and I will eat. While I thought that I would eat at I was going to just do 20 hours today, and I stopped eating at about just before 12 last night, so by 8 o'clock I should be okay for eating again. In the meantime, I wanted to do a bit more walking. I've done so far today 6.5. It'd be nice to do a bit more than that, a couple more hours worth, because then I've got a chance of breaking the record. I don't think I've done so far this calendar year, and I'm down into May the 3rd, more than about 11 or so. If I went to 12, I don't remember having done 12 so far this calendar year. The last thing I remember as a big one was 16 on the 1st of November last year, walking around Warsaw. I did 16 then. That was the last big one I think I can remember doing. That was just after some quite big ones of about 15, 13, etc. in Beijing, making my biggest month ever back in the 1 October. So now it's May. The first few days of May I've been walking very well, so, but not those record-breaking levels. So I want to try and push myself a little bit today. I don't have to push myself on both the weekend days. One should always, if one pushes oneself further, I don't consider, like for example 8 to be really a push. I'd like to get beyond that, so that I'm really pushing at the limits a bit, getting sore and what have you, and then I can have Saturday free and do maybe something on Sunday or maybe something on Monday. I'm back to work obviously on Monday, but I could walk there in the morning and then after work do something else, do some more walking in different directions up there. So anyway, that's all by the by. We had a bit of a chat. It's very peaceful for a Friday because of course it's national holiday. You wouldn't think it was a Friday, it feels like a Sunday. And it's really good to have these occasionally because you really need it, I think.